In this video, we'll discuss the distributive property of real numbers. If we let a, b, and c be real numbers, then if we take a multiplied by b plus c in parentheses, then this is going to be the same as if we take a multiplied by b plus a multiplied by c. Similarly, if we take a times b minus c in parentheses, this will be a times b minus a times c. And this is the distributive property. In this example, we're supposed to use the distributive property to rewrite each expression. In part A, we have 7 times x squared plus 4 in parentheses. What we'll do is distribute the 7 and multiply it by each of the terms in the parentheses. So first we'll have 7 times x squared, which just gives us 7x squared. And then we'll have 7 times 4, which will give us 28 for our second term. In part B, we have negative 3 multiplied by z minus 2 minus w in parentheses. Again, we'll distribute that negative 3 to each of the terms in the parentheses. So we end up with negative 3 times z, which is just negative 3z, and then we'll have negative 3 times negative 2. When I multiply two negative numbers together, I get a positive, so that will be positive 6. And now we have negative 3 times negative w. Again, that will be positive 3w. The last one is 16z plus 16w. We don't see any parentheses here, but what the problem is asking us to do is use the distributive property to rewrite the expression. So what we can do is rewrite this in the form that has parentheses. To get there, we would need 16 multiplied by z plus w in parentheses. Notice if I were to multiply this back out, I would end up with what we have on the left-hand side here. This is called factoring out 16. Let's check for understanding. Pause the video and work this one out on your own before coming back and checking your answer. Here we're supposed to use the distributive property to rewrite each expression. The first one gives us 6 times 3t minus 2q plus x. So we need to distribute the 6 to each of the terms inside the parentheses. We'll end up with 6 times 3t, that's going to be 18t. Now, 6 times negative 2q will give us negative 12q. And finally, 6 times x will give us positive 6x. In part B, we have 2z squared minus 2w. Since we don't see any parentheses here, we need to factor this out. What the two terms have in common is a 2, and then what's left over is going to be z squared minus w in parentheses. Finally, in part C, we need to distribute the negative sign. We can think of that as a negative 1 sitting there, multiplying each of the two terms. And so the first term is going to go from negative to positive 6t, and the second term will go from plus s to minus s.